Okay, good day to you and welcome to today's session. My name is Dr. Aliu Izwe, and if you can hear me loud and clear, please type on the comment section. Please, no audio. Type on the comment section, you can hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear, can you type on the comment section that I can hear you? So I can hear you. And if you can also see my screen, can you also type on the comment section? I can see your screen. Okay, thank you. So today we'll be looking at some of the requirements, no matter the classes you are, the batch you are, we're taking it chronologically. Okay, I can hear you and I can see your screen. Thank you. I can see your screen and I can hear you. Okay, thank you as much as possible. So today we're going to be looking at organization and management responsibility under this QMS module. Please just hold on. So if you're having challenge with the WhatsApp, with the Zoom link, you can go to my YouTube channel. You get the live class there too. On my YouTube channel, Dr. Ali, just look at today module and you get also what we are currently doing. So we look at it. So the course objective is to describe the organization structure, the management role and responsibility, and other factors that is needed for a successful quality management system. Now, other objectives include for participants should be able to explain the process of designing, implementing, maintaining, and improving the quality system. Next, to describe the organizational elements needed for a quality management system. Also discuss management role and responsibility in a quality system. And also the last but not the least objective to explain the purpose of the quality manual. Now, by way of introduction, every management must have a structure and owns a responsibility to organize, define, and support the organization. Now, such responsibility of the management over the organization cannot be overemphasized. In other words, every management has the responsibility to create structure, to create systems, to organize, to define, and to support the organization. Now, such responsibility of the management cannot be overemphasized. In fact, in quality management system, no quality management system can be implemented without the management responsibility. So the laboratory or any healthcare institution must meet the requirement for international standard when carrying out its work. This includes other associated laboratory, patient service center, blood collection point, service center, phlebotomy unit, and every other one. The term organization in this context of quality management system model is used to indicate the management and supporting organization structure. So when we talk about organization, in the quality system essential, we are talking about the management, the support, and the structure. Those three things made up the organization in QMS. Now, it is one of the essential elements in the quality management system that is intimately related to other elements of the model. So you see that our organization has an interrelationship with every other quality system essential. Now, by now we are familiar with this called organization, personnel, equipment, purchase and inventory, but process control, information management, document and record, occurrence management, assessment, process improvement, customer service, facility, and safety. So today we're going to be looking at organization. So what is an organization? First, an organization is a group of individuals that are working closely to achieve one or more objectives. Now, organizations are composed of individuals and groups of individuals that are oriented toward achieving a collective goal. So when people come together in an institution, in a project, in a program to achieve a collective goal, we can call those group of people an organization. So they consist of different functions. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, please can you type on the comment section? I can hear you loud and clear. I just want to ensure that you are in connection with what we are doing here today. Okay, so can you hear me? Please just type on the comment section. Yes, okay, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So organization can also be defined or referred to as an entity comprising of multiple people, such as institution, association, that have a particular purpose, have a particular objective. It could be a social unit of people that is structured and managed to meet a need or pursue a collective goal. The word organization as a name of something, as a noun. Now, and all organizations must have a management structure that determines the relationship between the different activities and the members, and subdivide and assign roles, responsibility, authority to carry out different tasks. So every organization must have a management structure. Any organization that does not have a management structure will never succeed, will never get the best out of that organization. It is the management structure that helps the relationship between different activities, between people, between responsibilities, and that assigns roles and coordinates all of them together to meet the collective goal. So first, as an organization, one of the requirements is that the organization must be a legal entity and there's ethical conduct for the organization. So the organization maybe having a laboratory or whatever it is, hospital, must be a legal entity. What does it mean to be a legal entity? In other words, must have done a formal registration with the registration body of that country. In Nigeria, registration body is CAC, the Corporate Affairs Commission, must be more and also register with other regulatory agency that is responsible for regulating such services. So for it to be a legal entity, one of the characteristics of it being a legal entity, it can be held legally responsible for its action and activity. So every laboratory organization have an attached laboratory such as hospitals, schools, research center, company, etc., must be legally registered with the appropriate body of the country it operates in accordance to the law of the country. For Nigeria, you need to register with the CAC, register with the MNSCM, and register with other different state healthcare institutions. For Lagos, we have FMA. For Abuja, we have HSS and all those things. So those are different. You have to register for such organizations to make the organization, either the healthcare facility or the lab or whatever it is, as a legal entity. So they can be sued and they can sue. So they can be held legally responsible for their action. Now, I want to talk about ethical conduct. The ethical conduct are adopted by the organization to assist members in understanding the difference between right and wrong, in applying and understanding their decisions. So ethical conduct are things that we do to help to separate the right and wrong. So an ethical conduct generally implies in 3 levels: the code of the business ethics, code of the conduct of the employee, and code of professional practice. So code of professional practice is your practice. Let's say as a medical lab scientist, as a medical doctor, whatever it is, it's your profession. So there are code of conduct that guide that professional practice. All these are part of what the ethical conduct. There are code of conduct for employees. And if you see some structure organization, when you come to organization, after the orientation, they give you the code of conduct for employee to sign as a proof that you have understand it, you have read through, and you have been trained on the code of conduct. You have the code of the business ethics. Every business has its ethics. So these are 3 ethics, 3 things that comprises or that makes up the ethical conduct of any organization: the code of the business ethics, the code of the employee, and the code of professional practice. Now, let's look at ethical code of the laboratory. Let's use the laboratory as a case study, which I guess most of you that are listening to this live session are majorly part of the laboratory. The laboratory must maintain confidentiality of information. So part of the code of the conduct of the laboratory of every healthcare facility is that you must maintain confidentiality of information. You can't run someone's test and go and give somebody's result to someone else. Somebody's phone. Because the major product of the lab is what? Information. The test result. So so that test result must be maintained, the lab must maintain confidentiality of information. You can't divulge information, or else you can be sued for it. The organization can be sued and charges can be laid on them. There should be no involvement in any activities and processes that would reduce the confidence of the lab competency, impartiality, operational integrity, and judgment. Please underline those 4 words. There should not be any form of sharp practice, any form of unprofessional practice that will reduce whatever you are doing, that will reduce the confidence of the laboratory competence, that will make the lab, make them to look at the hospital, the organization, and say in the lab, say, no, I don't have confidence in this result. Or any form of impartiality or operational integrity and judgment. Next, the management and personnel must be free from any undue commercial, financial, or other pressure that may adversely affect the quality of work. So you should be free from every undue commercials, financial, or other pressures and influence that may adversely affect the quality of their work. Where there exists a potential conflict in competing interests, there must be openly and appropriately declared. So wherever you have conflict of interest, you should openly declare it. There must be an appropriate laid down procedure to ensure that staff treat human sample, tissues, or remains in accordance to the relevant legal requirements. All these are codes of conduct. Now let's look at 5 contemporary organization theory models. This I explained. So this I'm going to give you as an assignment for everyone that is listening to me. Go and read up these 5 contemporary organization theory models. These are general theory models for organization theory: population ecology theory, resource dependence model, the contingency model, transaction cost model, and the institutional model. In the QMS on the website, this will explain, but I want you to go and read it up. Read up these 5 contemporary organization theory models: 1, population ecology theory, resource dependence model, the contingency model, transaction cost theory, and the institutional model. I hope that is clear enough for us. So I can put it on the comment section. Read population ecology theory, resource dependent theory, the contingency theory, transaction cost theory. Some of us would have read this. Those of us that we're taking these courses on the website. Institutional theory. In fact, from the way the name sounds, you should be able to almost get a grab of it. Okay, I hope that is taken. If you get that, can you type on the comment section? Worth taking. So read these 5 contemporary organization theory model. We read them from books, from internet, from anywhere. Make a research and read them. Okay. So now let's look at organization components. We want to talk about organization components. These are the components of an organization. 1, leadership. 2, structure. 3, planning process. 4, implementation. 5, monitoring. I take that again. 1, leadership. 2, structure. 3, planning process. 4, implementation. 5, monitoring. Now, the organization must have, the management must provide leadership. Leadership is such a way that those leadership will create structures, we create planning process, we implement, and we monitor. So providing leadership has to do with providing strategic direction. That's leadership. Managing resources. So the organization must provide leadership. Next, they must provide structures. Structures are things that are put in place for you to reproduce results. Where there are no structures, there cannot be progress. Where there are no structures, the organization will always suffer what we call what should I call it now? Impendent growth, such a way that their growth will not be geometrical, it will not even be arithmetical, to just be there, to be impending. So structure is what gives credence to an organization. Structure is what gives stability to organization. If you have a system that the organization that is not stable, check the structure. They don't have structure. If you work in any organization, they do things anyhow. People are just doing anyhow. They do anyhow. No, this thing, the rules that they lack was structure. So what they lack down organization is structure. So the leadership, the management has to put in structures. Structure is simply the way of getting things done. Who is responsible? What should be so even when people leave, because that structure is there, it's easy for you to integrate new people into the system. But when you build an organization on people and not on structures, and not building structure, when they leave, you start afresh. Start doing everything all over again. Those are structures. Planning process. If you don't plan, you definitely, if you don't plan, you definitely fail. So planning is the ability for you to, a good characteristic of a plan should have a goal, should have an action, should have action or actions that is targeted to meet that goal, person that is responsible for taking that action, timeline, time at which you're going to start, time at which you're going to end, then resources that is needed, who is responsible, and who you are accountable to. That is a typical plan. Remember, every plan must be documented. When you don't document a plan, it brings about issues, chaos. So these things I just explained to you are good characteristics of a plan. Next, if you plan and you don't implement your plan, it's as good as if you have not planned. You will never reap the benefit of any plan, no matter how good it is on paper, if it is not properly implemented. And that is where action comes in play. That's why who is responsible to implement it? Because some of what we do, we plan. We are good in having meetings in organizations. We have meetings, plenty meetings. When we come back again for the next meeting, we are still where we are. Because why? There's no implementation, no action is being taken. It's just like you having, you are hungry and you prepare a good meal. You are hungry and prepare a good meal and you put it in front of you. By you preparing a good meal or having a good meal does not automatically satisfy your hunger. So until you eat the food, it's what you eat that you benefit from, not what you have. So planning is like what you have. Implementation is like what you engage, what you do. So it is in doing that brings about the profit. It is in doing that brings about the result. So if you must see results in any process, in any organization, implementation is key. Especially in this part of the world, we have issues when it comes to implementation. A lot of policies, a lot of documents in federal government, a lot of things. The policies are there. Those are plans. The structures are there. But when it comes to implementation, you see everybody withdrawing their hands. Nobody wants to be on it. So implementation is key for any organization to be able to succeed. Next, when you implement, you have to monitor. Monitor and you evaluate to see if what you implement is in compliance to what is expected and if it's giving the desired result. That is where monitoring comes from. That's why every project, whether an M&E, one of the duties of the M&E is to monitor and to evaluate. Monitoring and evaluation is a key component of any project and any program. And it's also a good career path for someone who wants to go on M&E. They are sorted in every project. So it's something you could pick up an interest and decide to be an M&E specialist in healthcare project and etc. So the leadership management role, the organization structure, the planning process, the implementation, monitoring, maintenance, and improvement. All these are functions of the managerial roles, the leadership. I hope I'm communicating. So please, if you can hear me, can you type on the comment section? And you can hear me so that I know that we are following up. Okay. Can you hear me loud and clear? Okay. Waiting for your feedback. Quality management system is such an interesting program. Yes, I can hear you loud and I can hear you, sir. Ngozi, thank you for that feedback. Okay.
Okay.
So the next, we look at management responsibility. What are the important roles for a leader? It includes providing vision. Vision is what gives direction. Vision is what tells us what we want to achieve. So the vision should be short-term vision, mid-term vision, and long-term vision, or short-term vision and long-term vision, depending on the leader. So it could be a short-term, so a short-term vision is something that within 1 year, 2 years could be 5 years, between 2 to 5 years, and above 10 years could be a long-term vision. So there must be a vision, because it's a vision that brings us together. Next, the leader must give direction for the goal setting. John Maxwell once defined leadership as a man or someone who knows the way, that is vision, who goes the way, that is direction, and who shows the way. So that you don't show the way is motivation. You show the way, you don't only show the way, you also go in the direction. Bosses knows the way, they point you to go to the way, they try to show you the way, but they don't go with you. So as a leader, you must provide vision, you must give direction for goal setting, you must motivate the staff. Motivate. So, and one of the core responsibility of leadership is to get things done through people. That's why micromanagers are people who look at you, they want to micromanage everything. But leadership creates the vision, sets the vision to the team, give them the resources, empower them both in training, both in resources, and everything that they need to succeed. Motivate them, encourage them, and provide all the necessary support for them to get things done. You know, some of us as managers, maybe in the lab and on the organization, we have this mini God attitude. When something like you are the only one who knows about it. Let's say, for example, an equipment is down. Like, so maybe you're on leave. You just wait them to give you a call. Hello, Mr. Paul. Our equipment is bad. You will now come like Lord of the Ring. Say, okay, give me like 2 days, or don't you know I'm on leave? You
Yeye
just
anachora
come like
utapuva.
that. You come, you do it.
Imagine
Everybody will
kwa
be
sababu
hailing you.
kwa sia nini?
That is
Utapuva
not
hono
leadership.
honana.
So that should be able to carry the people along, should be able to do things through people. And that's why leadership will entails you motivating, you coaching, you teaching. Some of us think that has heard of labs organization, that the one we teach people, the people get to know more than us, they will become irrelevant. That's not true. So when you teach people, you know more, and it makes you more relevant and helps the team to grow. People want to they are conserving the knowledge. They want to just keep everything to themselves. And no, that is not leadership. That is boss attitudes. So leaders, they provide a vision, they give direction for goal setting, they motivate the staff to get the job done and provide what encouragement and resources and everything that is needed. So let's look at the lab manager responsibility. Now, this is an old clause, but there is new ISO 15189/2022, the clauses is also there. The laboratory manager should have responsibilities to design, implement, and maintain and improve the quality management system. So you should be able to be responsible to design it, implement it, and maintain and improve the QMS. Now, management responsibility has to be establishing policies and process of the quality system. Ensure all policies, process, procedure, and instruction are documented. Make sure that all personnel understand the document, the instructions, and all their duties and responsibility. And that's why when someone resume, we need to do training. But then no matter where they are coming from do training, give them job descriptions. You don't just bring people into the organization and just push them into the work. At the end of the day, if these structures are not put in place, you will never get the best out of them. Providing personnel with appropriate authorities and resources to carry out their duties. So as a lab manager, as a manager, your responsibility to provide, to give them the authority, give them the resources to carry out what their duty. What is the responsibility of the director? To have the principal responsibility of setting up an organization that can support the quality management system model. They are responsible for developing policy, assign authority and responsibility to the appropriate person, assessing resources, reviewing the organization aspect of the system for optimal functioning of the quality process. In other words, the laboratory director is one who is responsible for the overall operation and administration of the laboratory, including the employment of personnel who are competent to perform tests, procedure record, report test results promptly, accurately, proficiently, and for assuring compliance with the applicable regulatory body or the regulation. These duties must be documented. Sometimes this duty can be assigned to someone else, but who is head responsible is the director. Now, other responsibility of the lab director include provision of effective leadership for the laboratory services, relate and function effectively where applicable accrediting and regulatory agencies, appropriate administration of official healthcare communities, patient population, serve, providing of formal agreement where required, like agreement between vendors, suppliers, all these things is the responsibility of the director. Select and monitor the laboratory suppliers. In fact, you must have a checklist, must audit them, regularly review these policies that are used in onboarding suppliers. Must ensure the implementation of the quality policy. You know, there's quality management, there's quality manual, there's quality policy, and there's quality objective. Now, must ensure that there are appropriate numbers of staff with the required education, training, competency to provide medical laboratory services that meets the need of the user. So that is why. So let's say, for example, I remember a story of someone who wanted to open a lab. And he said all he needs is just a technician. Like, doesn't want a medical lab scientist and a lab. I say, why? Say he feel that if he has an experienced lab technician, the person could do the job. I say, wow, fantastic. Now, there is no profession that is low or not needed. Whether you're a phlebotomy, whether you're a technician, whether you're a scientist, whether you're a pathology, everyone has its role and responsibility well spread out. So there's nothing that's intertwining. You can't do someone's own, someone else cannot do your own. Stay on your lane and do what is expected of you. Because the healthcare services is a collaborative effort. So only one aspect, only one professional cannot satisfy the patient. It's like a community cooking food for one person. So everybody has to put his own input. That's the only way such individual can be satisfied. In other words, that's the only way where the end users of the services can be satisfied. So you have to ensure that you have the required number of staff, the right education. So I was telling you, so and I told the person, I said, okay, just like you having a surgeon and having a theater nurse who have had experience with a surgeon for over, let's say, 20 years. Will you allow that theater nurse to cut your relative up to do an operation? And because he has been with the surgeon, he knows what the surgeon does, he has seen those procedures. No matter how experienced he or she is, First, he's not licensed. He does not have the educational training to carry out that procedure. So you cannot. So what you don't have the educational training, you shouldn't employ as a director, you shouldn't employ someone that does not have the educational training to do that. Okay, someone who just read a science course should not be running tests in the lab. It's not a function of whether how long the person has been in the system. It's not a function of how long the person. First, the person does not have the prerequisite, the educational training, the competency. And even when you're a professional, let's say for example, you're a medical lab scientist, biomedical lab scientist. If you don't have the competency to do that particular test, that particular procedure, you shouldn't do it, even when you're licensed. So it has to do with education, with training, with competency to prove that the medical laboratory service meets the need of all the user and it cut across every other department in the healthcare system, whether it be nursing, whether it be pharmacy, physiotherapy, whatever it is, it cut across. They are responsible for implementing the safe laboratory environment in compliance with good practice. So what are other responsibilities of the lab director? They select referral laboratories and monitor the quality of their services. So there's no lab that is self-sufficient of its own. Every lab must have a referral lab. That is one requirement. So you must have a referral lab. Even the biggest lab in the world also refers sample, refer tests. Must ensure the provision of clinical advice with respect to the choice of the examination test, use of the services and interpretation of the test results. Must provide professional development programs for the lab staff. I used to say, when you work in an organization, 2 years, 3 years, you have not done any professional development training, they have not done any training for you, you are not in the right place. You are not in the right place because such an environment will not give you the opportunity to grow. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you are there, no training, whether locally or internationally or paid program. It shows you that there is lack of structure, lack of leadership in that organization. So provide professional development programs for laboratory staff and opportunity to participate in scientific and other activities of professional laboratory. I have had several lab directors, several heads of organization, healthcare facilities that have engaged us, both private, NGO, government, that have engaged us in professional development. Because the role of professional development cannot be overemphasized in the quality of delivery. Because there are some programs you have to push as a director, as a head of a lab, head of a unit. Your team needs this training. They have to, these are part of the benefit, these are part of the responsibility of the organization. I hope I'm communicating. And I hope I'm not stepping on some toes. If you can hear me loud and clear, please type on the comment section. I can hear you. Okay, thank you. Anyone said he or she can hear me. Okay, thank you, thank you. So other responsibility of the lab director include what? Address complaint, request, suggestion from end users and staff. I remember one of the facility I managed then, and we were having constraint in terms of space. So one of the patients or the client just came. So who the manager here said, I am, he said, okay, followed me. He took me by my hand and went to the gate and said, look, what can you see? It's a form of feedback. And I looked, and I said, well, cars are where people are struggling to park. Then in that facility, you could spend up to 20 minutes when you come to look for where to park before you start even your test or what you need to do. So that feedback made me to go back to the drawing board. I'm able to have a bigger space that could carry what we need to do. These are the functions. Next, monitor all work performed in the laboratory to determine the clinical relevant information that is generated. Some of us as directors, as managers, we just come do what I call paparazzi, do 50, just look. We just go. No, that is not it. You have to monitor all work performed. You have to ensure that what is coming out from your facility is nothing but quality results. And three things define the quality of any laboratory result. One, the accuracy of the result, reliability, and the timeliness of that result. These three things, you must hold it with high esteem. Address any complaint, request, or suggestion from end users and staff. Design and implement a contingency plan. This is key. Every lab must have a contingency plan. Every hospital must have a contingency plan. Every organization must have a contingency plan. Contingency plan is a plan B. If this happens, this is what we'll do. If this happens, and you must know when to trigger the contingency plan. Let's say, for example, now you have an equipment for running hematology test, and you have a backup. Now, if the first one is, if that the first machine and second line machine is bad, what is your contingency plan? You must have a contingency plan, and you must know when to trigger that contingency plan. So, person have contingency, but they don't know when to trigger the contingency plan. So, at the end of the day, look as if they don't have a contingency plan. I hope I'm communicating tonight. So, what are the skills of a laboratory director? What are the skills? So, a laboratory director is not just by the number of years you have spent. So in the lab, some persons feel that, oh, because I'm the oldest person in the lab, I should be the head of the lab. It can work for in a government institution, but in modern day laboratory management, it doesn't work that way. You must have the prerequisite skills. Somebody says skills. Type on the notice on the chat box. I must have the skills to be a manager or a director. One of those skills is leadership and management skills. And the good thing about it is that leadership and management skills, financial and accounting skills. I remember working as a manager in a particular organization. I have to do some financial account reconciliation. Something that even accountants get scared of. You have to have administrative skill. You see that most of these skills are not taught in your bachelor degree. You have to have a monitoring and evaluation skill. You must have interpersonal skills. You must have quality management skills. You must have mentoring skills, because you're going to be dealing with people and not just only equipment. There are some persons that work in a particular place when I was living, and if the person who took over for me as the manager, if I was to even nominate, I won't nominate the person even the fifth position. Why? Because the person has a technical skill. It doesn't have managerial skills, doesn't have mentoring skills, doesn't have interpersonal skills. He knows the job, but he's only good at the job. But when it comes to management of people, he flops. You must have human resource skills, you must have project management skills, you must have planning skills, you must have research methodology skills. A lot of information that will generate data. Some few days ago, I did a presentation on data management and the rest. So some of those data we generate in the lab, you could turn it into research papers and the rest. But if you don't have research methodology skill, then you'll be looking at them and they'll be looking at you. You must have problem solving skills. All these are soft skills. You must have innovative and creative skills. Many more skills. But the good news is that at Pegasus Consultancy, we do all these trainings. Leadership, clinical leader, we have trainings that covers all this. So in case you really want to grow, you really want to get these skills, why not? It could be your best plug, both as an individual and also as an organization. Okay, let's look at quality manager. So the laboratory must have a quality manager. Now, hear this categorically for me, and you can quote me anyway. Any lab that does not have quality manager does not have quality management system. Any lab, any organization that does not have a quality manager or a quality officer do not have a quality quote. You can quote me anywhere. The quality manager is the person or the quality officer must be directly responsible for ensuring that the quality policies and procedures are carried out. Naturally, humans we are deviant. People want to do what is convenient. People want to do things that will make them feel good. Normally, that's human nature. So the quality manager or the quality officer, they are like the police. They are the law enforcement agency that ensure that you do the right thing. The quality manager should sit high in the organization structure. It should be delegated to the appropriate authorities to ensure compliance to quality management. You shouldn't report to someone who report to someone. At the end of the day, it can water a whole lot of things. Quality managers assist in developing policies, planning, and implementation of the QMS. A very large laboratory organization may need several quality managers or quality officers for each session. There are some places, even outside the country, where I have worked or been trained, say that every department has a quality officer, quality manager for hematology, quality manager for chemistry, quality manager for laboratories, and the rest, depending on the service. But at least minimum, you should have one quality manager for restaurant. These are the responsibilities of the QA manager. Monitoring all aspects of the quality system. How many aspects? All. So what you don't know, how can you monitor? So that means as a quality manager, you need to understand what is the requirement. We have a program on QA manager course. It's something I encourage you to take after this quality management system course. You will see a lot of things that is expected. It's the responsibility to ensure staff are following quality policies and procedures. You review regularly all records. Example, your QC, your EQA. These are part of the quality system. Organize internal audits, coordinating external audits. These are part of what the QA manager does. Investigate any deficiency identified in the audit process. Informing management on all aspects of the quality system monitoring. So, the lab staff, they are responsible for understanding the organizational structure of the lab, including where their authority and their responsibility are assigned. So, as a lab staff, you must understand the organization structure. You must understand the authority, who you are reporting to, who reports to you, who you are supervising, who supervises you, your responsibility, your job descriptions. Some people they just employ them, they don't know their job description, they do everything. And the thing they cannot do gets back. Why? Because there are no job description. The laboratory staff will follow all the quality policies. How many? All. If you don't follow the quality policy and what the quality manual says, that is not conformity in their daily work. Somebody was chatting me up some few days ago, like, oh, he was complaining that the boss is complaining about this and this and that. Why? Because the lab staff are not following the policies. Ensure that the organizational structures are followed. Now, when we talk about organizational structures, it can be defined as a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of the organization. These are structures. So the organizational structure also determines how information flows between levels within companies. As let's say, for example, as a lab staff, you cannot take information to the lab director when the lab manager is not informed. That's lack of structure. And those lack of structure can bring, when there is lack of structure, it brings breakdown in processes. So the first person who is supposed to know, who you are supposed to report, maybe your head of unit, you are not reported to, you are reporting to someone else, can cause what they call, what is called anarchy. It's also a typical hierarchy arrangement in lines of authority, communications, the right and the duties of an organization. If you have not worked in a structured organization, when you find yourself in a structured organization, you'll be you'll be thinking that the bureaucracies are too much, the protocols are too much. For this little thing I want to do, I need to do this. Yes, that's it, that's the structure. Those structure is what sustain your organization. If everybody do it the way they like and the way they want, at the end of the day, there will not be any organization. So organization is built on structures. Organization, the word to organize the resources, to structure it, determine how the roles, powers, and responsibility are assigned, how it is controlled, how it is coordinated. And that's the reason why everyone in the team is very, very important. But the truth about it is that everyone cannot be in the same role. For structure's sake, that's the reason why we have the lab manager, the lab director, the key officers, senior this, senior that, and all those things for structure. For administrative or for operational efficiencies. Let's say, for example, like one of the organizational structure is that you must have an organogram. Any organization that does not have organogram does not have a structure. You can quote me on that. If I come to your organization, maybe I'm doing an audit, I ask you, where's your organogram? I say, the habit to we used to have it. I just know that that place is a quagmire because there's no structure. Anything goes in and anything can go out. So you must have what? An organogram. So look at this is just a sketch of one, something I just did here, stuff like that and the rest. Next, you must have workflow parts. So where is the direction of the workflow? The patient, test, analytical, post-analytical, what the workflow? Because when you don't have workflow, it can lead to missing samples, missing results, results not being ready, delayed in turnaround time. Why? Because of lack of workflow. Organization structure, you must establish a quality system plan. Implementing a quality system in the organization requires a written plan. A written plan makes it clear to all staff and users of the lab to know the process that will be followed. The plan should contain the following components, at least the objective and the tasks, the responsibility, this is what I said, the timeline, budget, resources needed, benchmark, and etc. Next is quality management. One of the key structure of any quality-oriented organization is the quality manual. So if I come to a facility and I ask you, where's your quality manual? You don't have. I just know that you don't have a quality system. Forget about every other thing. It's like a Christian who does not have a Bible, or it's like a Muslim who does not have a Quran. What is your guiding principles? So the quality manual is your internal guiding principles. It's what you state, what you do, and what you are going to do. So the quality manual is a document which fully describes the quality system of an organization. It fully describes everything that relates to quality must be in the quality manual. That's why sometimes when people approach me, do you have a quality manual? I want to implement. I just like, because it's not something that is not a cut and paste. It's something that has to be developed depending on your structure. Let's say, because the EQA program you are doing may not be the EQA program this other person is doing. So you can't put something else. So you have that. And this quality management system must cut across the 12 quality system essential. It must contain the 12 quality system essential. So every of the 12 quality system essential must be addressed in the quality manual. According to the ISO 15189, it requires that the laboratory have a quality manual, although the style and the structures are not specified. How you design it, but ensure that you have in a laboratory that is implementing quality management, there must be what? A quality manual. No quality manual, no quality. Some organization have quality manual, but nobody has seen it in the organization, just only the manager. So you go and see it is in a dusty, they will dust it like old result sheet. Bring it out for you. Nobody has read it, nobody knows about it. I hope I'm communicating. Okay, someone said I must have this skill to be a lab director and a lab manager. Why not? Very, 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 very possible. Sorry, hope I can proceed. Please, can you shed more light on the referral lab? Referral laboratory is the laboratory you refer your samples to. The samples you don't do, or the samples that you have, you could not do at that particular time, or something you need MB and the other investigation, benchmarking, or those are referral laboratory. I'm trying to answer Usna's question. Okay, thank you. So let's continue. This is quality manual. So writing a quality manual is a skill, it's like writing a book. So if you don't understand basic quality management, you cannot even attempt quality. And the more you write, the more better you. But the most minimum requirement, that must capture the 12 quality system essential. It will address it. Okay, thank you. How can one generate or get a quality manual? Yeah, we have trainings for writing quality manual. Just like I said, every aspect of the quality manual, you have to capture it. What do you do? What do you do when it comes to the organization? You state it there. What do you do when it comes to equipment? You state it there. What do you do in terms of all this? You state it there. Those are the ways. So there are structures. Everything that regards what you do. How do you evaluate your EQA program? How do you do your interlaboratory comparison? All those things must be captured there. in the quality manual. So it's a guide that shows the intention of the organization as regards to quality. It's like writing a book. I want to be guided that at least you must have all the essentials being covered there. I hope that answers your question. Okay. So quality objective, quality policy, and quality plan. Please look at the slide. Quality policy is a statement describing the commitment of the whole laboratory to provide good professional practice and quality testing in compliance of the ISO 15189 standard. Quality policy provides the most concrete direction to the yearly planning of the lab. Quality objective and quality planning are goals for the value of product, service, and process. It can be specific to a team, to a department, to a project, to a program, to a process, unlike the quality policy that is set at the top level of the organization. So quality policies are usually policies, and you can't change policies. The staff cannot change a policy. That's the policy of the organization. So it's a top management thing. But quality objective and quality planning can be a team, can be yearly, it could be specific depending on your process improvement. And also, so let's say quality objective, let's say for example, I want to improve my external quality assessment proficiency by I want to achieve 95%. That is the objective. But that may not be someone's objective, someone who is having 100 over 100. So this example I'm using to clarify between quality objective, quality policy, and quality planning. Who is responsible for quality in the organization? Everyone. Everyone is responsible, including the cleaners, including the gate men, including the security personnel, including you, including I, including the managers, including the board of the manager, directors, and everyone. Now, the organization gives a framework for the quality system by providing good leadership and taking responsibility. I've been to a hospital. I wanted to implement quality management system, to move the lab from no star at least to 1 to 2 star. And the head of the place just told me that this is not what I'm interested about. And do you know that with all the visit and all the engagement from the from the funders, we couldn't do much. Why? Because what? The responsibility. Now that's why as a quality implementer, if I want to implement, let's say ISO 15189, the first thing I do is to engage the leaders, the managers. If they don't buy into the vision, yeah, it's nothing or little you can do. You can only do little within your spread of influence, but you can't do much. So they must provide good leadership and take responsibility. Quality is not a science, it is a way of thinking. Please, if you didn't get that, quality is not a science, it's a way of thinking. It should be a way of life. It should be the way of decision. So at every point in time, when you want to make decision, your decision should be quality focused and quality oriented. Like personally, I do only quality things, quality people. There's a way this quality can affect even to the way you dress, even to the quality of things you buy. I remember then when I started doing quality management system training, some of the I could remember some of the things I normally say, like then, because you don't even though you don't have the money, the resources, but don't justify poor quality in your mind. Let's say, for example, now I want to travel from Abuja to Lagos. And somebody is saying that traveling by road is better than taking a flight. If you don't have the money, it's fine, I understand. But don't ever justify it in your mind that it's better. That is poor quality, poor thinking. So there are some of us that we instead of buying something that is superior, something that is good quality, you want to buy inferior one because it's cheaper. At the end of the year, you end up spending more money in it, maintaining it, not getting the right, to not even serve you. Why? Because of what you're thinking. As a man thinks, so it's not a science, it should be a way of thinking, a way of life. So at every point in time, when you want to make a decision that affect your team, affect the process, affect the program, affect the organization, you must be quality oriented. If you see someone who is not quality focused, they can do anything. When someone is cutting a strip into a unionizing strip into 4 places to run a test, you don't know the way the person thinks. When somebody is running a test without running quality control, it shows you the way the person thinks. Time invested today will help gain quality result, professional and personal satisfaction, and peer recognition. Everyone in the organization, system, or laboratory is responsible for the quality performance. Everyone in the chain is responsible for quality. That's why you cannot implement ISO 15189 without engaging the people. So even as an external consultant, the first thing we do is to engage people, is to train them, is to teach them to what is expected of them, and make them own the process. That's why in implementation of total quality management system, they must take ownership. They must buy into the idea. They must know what is in for them, or else you just be doing a journey of that will end up in futility. Organizational leadership and management must commit to meeting quality needs. Laboratory personnel must follow all the quality assurance procedure and adhere strictly to the requirement and to the standard. Compliance is a way of thinking. There's some person, let's say, for example, now why I say quality is not a science, it's a way of life. It should be a culture, it should be a way of thinking. Somebody can be driving now, he gets to a traffic light, especially in this part of the world where things sometimes are not, there are no penalty. You get to a place, traffic, a four junction, and the traffic light is saying stop. You look left, you look right, you look front, no car is coming. You drive and pass. It shows you the way you think. Because you are seeing the traffic light is saying stop, and you are still beating the traffic light. It doesn't have to be whether there are people, there are not people that is coming. That's not the essence. There is an instruction. There's a policy as a licensed driver. You know what that means. So quality should be a way of thinking. You should do only quality thing, quality stuff, quality decision, quality people, quality services. And anytime not quality, I don't get myself attached to it. I work in different places, different organizations where I have to raise up my head against a lot of things people do. Why? Because I only do quality things. It's not because uh, it's not because you just want to be, but because of the way you have structured your life, your way to do things. I can never carry a sample with my bare hand. Why? Not because I'm afraid, but because that's the way I think. So you should wear a hand glove. Some say it doesn't matter. You see, at the end of the day, it's a way of thinking. You see, a woman who is having maybe a 1-year-old child at home, or is breastfeeding, works in the lab, a professional. You see, he or she carrying samples that had all manners of things with bare hands. That's how you end up infecting yourself, infecting your young ones. It's not because there's no available. Some person even glove is there. I bet it doesn't matter, Jared. Let me just speak it. You know, only one, it won't kill me. It's not a function, it's not a fear. It's a way of thinking. I hope today I've been able to do some justice to us as regards the subject matter. Please hold on.